Inayah's Turnkey Program teaches Airbnb rental arbitrage, renting properties from landlords, then subletting on Airbnb for a profit. It was created by Inayah McMillan, a 23-year-old who claims she manages 50 plus properties, generating over $1 million in revenue while only owning one. The model works by renting a property for around $2,500 monthly, furnishing it with $10,000 to $20,000, listing it on Airbnb at $200 to $300 per night, paying landlord and expenses, and then keeping the rest. The two paths offered in the program are a free 250 lesson course or a 7,000 turnkey program where their team handles setup. Getting started requires a 680 plus credit score plus business funding or existing capital. Inayah previously operated as Inayah Academy and I&B Coaching before the current branding. Multiple Reddit complaints report paying $5,720 to $15,000, but receiving only video courses and AI chatbots instead of the promised hands-on mentorship and done-for-you services. And here's what most people don't understand. You're signing a 24-month lease with $60,000 in total obligations, competing against property owners who have lower overhead. Many cities ban this model without permits. And despite automation claims, you're managing an active hospitality business requiring constant attention. Hi, I'm Hunter. I've been making money online for over 5 years now with a variety of different methods. Online income allows extensive freedom and opportunity. For me, that's been the ability to fulfill my dream of traveling and living around the world. And on this channel, I review the most popular online business models right now and the courses that teach them to help you realize whatever your dream is too. Today we're breaking down Inayah's Turnkey Program for Airbnb rental arbitrage. Quick disclaimer, I'm not affiliated with this program in any way. I'm not going to get paid by them for this review. I'm just giving my honest opinion based on my own research and what I know about the rental arbitrage industry. My favorite online income opportunity for most people is digital leasing, which you can learn more about by clicking the link in the description below. Drop a comment right now if you've considered Airbnb arbitrage or are actively scaling a rental arbitrage business or an Airbnb business. I want to hear your thoughts and experiences with this industry and business model. Now let's break down what Inayah's Turnkey Program actually offers. So this program teaches rental arbitrage for Airbnb. You rent a property from a landlord for a fixed monthly rent, furnish it with your own capital, list it on Airbnb at nightly rates, and keep the profit after all the expenses. Inayah McMillan claims she's a 23-year-old managing over 50 properties, generating over $1 million in revenue this year alone, while only owning one of them. The pitch positions this as a perfect business for busy professionals who want a second income without owning property, quitting their job, or managing this full time. Success stories include her mom, who secured $100,000 in business funding and generated $116,000 in revenue from 2 properties. Students Q and Liz got $125,000 in funding, acquired 3 properties, and made $30,000 in revenue working their regular jobs. Dante secured $80,000 in funding and had 3 bookings worth $3,000 within 24 hours of launching. Startup costs for this model typically average $10,000 to $20,000, covering the first month's rent plus security deposit, furniture and decor, supplies, and contractors for setup, plus professional photography. If you don't have savings, they teach a business credit strategy where you apply for a 0% interest credit card with a 680 plus credit score and LLC. They claim that the average client secured over $42,000 in funding. Credit repair services cost an additional $997. There's 2 paths offered with the program. Path 1 is completely free, over 250 trading lessons covering property analysis, case studies, setup guides, tax strategies, and funding applications. It's a bit overwhelming. So path 2 is the $7,000 turnkey program where their team handles everything. Funding optimization, landlord negotiations, custom pitch videos, property design with 3D renderings, furniture ordering, setup coordination, professional photography, and automation of the business. They claim this represents $37,697 in total value. The 5-step system starts with budget and funding using either cash savings or business credit cards applied for in a specific sequence. Step 2 uses their calculator tool where you paste a Zillow address and it pulls data from Airbnb, Vrbo, and Booking.com to show the projected nightly rates, occupancy, revenue, expenses, and profit over 2 years. Step 3 teaches getting landlord approval. Instead of asking to do Airbnb, you position it as a professional short-term rental company asking, are you accepting business applicants or are you accepting corporate leases? You explain that you sign longer leases, put down larger deposits, and can pay months in advance and maintain the properties professionally. They claim an 83% success rate, a yes rate, and create custom pitch videos covering guest screening, booking management, cleaning, noise monitoring, and insurance. You also get a lease addendum the landlord must sign, granting permission to sublet. Step 4 is design and setup, taking 4 to 8 weeks. You create 3D renderings using SketchUp and Spoke software, design the space, order furniture from Amazon and Wayfair, budgeting about $9,000 to $10,000 for a 2-bedroom apartment, coordinate delivery and assembly, hire contractors if needed for $2,000 to $5,000, and get professional photography for $150 to $300. Then step 5 is listing and automation using Yale smart locks for keyless check-in, Ring doorbell cameras, hospitable for guest managing and cleaner scheduling, price labs for dynamic pricing, and Noiseware for noise monitoring. They claim with automation, you're just checking your phone a few times daily while booking notifications roll in. The program currently operates as Inayah's Turnkey Program and Inayah Academy, but previously ran as Inayah Academy and I&B Coaching. Multiple customer complaints exist on Reddit, documenting experiences from users who had paid the $5,720 to $15,000 for the program. For example, a Canadian student paid $5,720 believing they'd receive a done-for-you setup, funding assistance, property access, and personal mentorship. After payment, they discovered funding help isn't available in Canada and wasn't disclosed this beforehand. Unit listings were US only. The calculator doesn't work in Canada. There was no dedicated mentor, just group calls at 9 p.m. Eastern, where questions were often ignored. They were placed in a mastery plan with generic videos and group calls rather than hands-on support. Multiple students report being directed to Style AI or Inayah and Bryson's Digital Mind AI chatbots instead of human coaching despite paying thousands for mentorship. One U.S. student paid $8,500, experienced vague AI-generated answers, no mentor, no funding assistance, and landlords who refused to work with them after Googling the program's bad reputation. The Reddit pattern shows sales calls promising comprehensive done-for-you support, but after payment, students receive primarily self-serve video courses and limited group support despite premium pricing. Now let's talk about what Airbnb Arbitrage actually requires and the challenges that nobody mentions. You're taking on a $10,000 to $20,000 in startup costs plus a 24-month lease, creating $60,000 in total obligation whether or not guests book. The pitch makes it sound like bookings automatically roll in once the setup is complete. You're competing against property owners with lower overhead because they're not paying the landlord rent, plus thousands of arbitrage operators following identical strategies. The lease legally obligates you to pay $2,500 every month for 2 years. If the property underperforms and the calculator projections are often optimistic about occupancy and likely rates, you're paying rent from your own pocket while servicing the business credit card debt you took on for the furniture and setup. The 0% interest rate for 12 months sounds attractive until the property isn't profitable enough to pay off the debt within that window. Now you're paying 20-25% interest on a $10,000 plus balance while still obligated to 12 months more of rent. This creates a debt trap where you're throwing good money after bad, hoping bookings eventually materialize. This capital risk and lease obligation is why some people prefer digital assets like lead generation websites costing $500 to $2,000 with no ongoing commitments. If a digital asset doesn't perform, you simply stop working on it without debt or lease liability hanging on you forever. This capital risk and lease obligation is why some people prefer digital assets like lead generation websites costing just a few $100 to $2,000 with no ongoing commitments. If a digital asset doesn't perform, you simply stop working on it without debt or lease liability hanging over you. Landlords increasingly refuse rental arbitrage as the model has become known for property damage, problematic guests, and operators who disappear owing rent. And the 83% yes rate, they say, lacks verification. Many landlords now include no subletting and no short-term rentals clauses in the standard leases. When you approach landlords positioning as a professional short-term rental company, many immediately Google your business name, finding complaints and reviews. Even operating independently, landlords researching rental arbitrage find horror stories about property damage from parties, unauthorized guests, illegal activities, and operators breaking leases, leaving landlords with unwanted furnished properties and months of lost rent. The type of landlords who do agree to this are often desperate to fill vacancies or don't fully understand what they're agreeing to until the problem arises. Then the relationship can deteriorate quickly. Getting that signed lease addendum doesn't guarantee a smooth working relationship when issues surface. Many cities have strict regulations making rental arbitrage illegal without proper permits, licenses, and compliance most beginners don't obtain. The training focuses on profitability calculations and landlord pitches, but glosses over legal frameworks governing short-term rentals. Cities like New York, Los Angeles, San Francisco, and Miami require operators to register, obtain business licenses, pay hotel occupancy taxes, maintain minimum night stays, prove primary residence for certain rentals, and comply with zoning restrictions. Many cities explicitly prohibit subletting for short-term rentals, meaning even with landlord permission, you could be violating ordinances. Penalties can include daily fines of $500 to $1,000 plus per violation, forced shutdown, and potential criminal charges for operating illegal hotels. That lease addendum from your landlord doesn't override local laws. Operating without proper permits makes you vulnerable to neighbor complaints, guest reports, Airbnb enforcement, removing listings, and city legal action, forcing shutdown, while you're still liable for the remaining lease term. Unlike businesses requiring location-based permits and regulatory compliance, digital marketing assets like lead gen websites operate without city-specific restrictions. You're not at risk of sudden shutdown from regulatory enforcement because you're not inviting paying customers into physical properties. Guest management requires constant attention and on-call availability, despite automation claims making it sound hands-off. The pitch shows tools like Hospitable, Price Labs, and Noiseware, making it seem like you can check your phone a few times daily and that's it. The reality is quite different. Guests can message you at any hour about Wi-Fi passwords, parking, check-in procedures, and local recommendations, expecting immediate responses because they're paying premium rates for Airbnb. Automation handles routine messages, but anything requiring judgment still needs your immediate personal attention, often outside business hours. When guests want early check-in, have family emergencies, requesting refunds, when neighbors complain about noise, when guests get locked out at midnight, you need to handle it. When guests leave negative reviews because showers leaked or Wi-Fi is slow, you manage the damage control affecting future bookings. When cleaners don't show up or quit suddenly, you either clean yourself or frantically find replacements before the next check-in. When the AC breaks, water heater fails, or toilets overflow, you have to coordinate the repairs, pay for them, and get properties guests ready before the next booking. This isn't really passive income, it's an active hospitality business requiring on-call availability. Operating expenses with this model often underestimate cleaning, guest supplies, Wi-Fi, software subscriptions, increased utilities, and your time managing operations. If after 6 to 12 months you realize it's unprofitable, can't cover expenses, and you're paying the difference from your pocket while servicing startup debt, you can't simply walk away from this. Breaking the lease triggers landlord lawsuits for the remaining rent, potentially 12 to 18 months at $2,500 monthly, meaning $30,000 to $45,000 liability, plus legal fees, credit damage, and collections affecting your ability to rent in the future. You could be trapped between continuing monthly losses, trying to break even, or breaking the lease and triggering a massive liability. And this specific program has operated under multiple brand names, which raises concerns about rebranding to escape negative reputation, starting as Staley Academy, becoming I&B Coaching, now operating as Inayah's Turnkey Program and Inayah Academy. It shows a pattern of name changes while maintaining the same ownership. When prospective customers research Staley Academy or I&B Coaching, they find Reddit threads, Facebook groups, and reviews from dissatisfied students. Rebranding the current names makes these complaints harder to discover because searches for new business names don't surface historical issues. Complaints also mention alleged efforts to suppress negative feedback. Multiple Reddit users report accounts suspended after posting their experiences. This pattern, combined with contract language preventing lawsuits, suggests awareness of customer dissatisfaction and strategic efforts to limit compliant visibility rather than addressing underlying service delivery issues. Your entire business depends on Airbnb's platform controlling your listing visibility, bookings, and account status. You're building on rented land where Airbnb sets rules, changes policies, and determines whether your listing appears in search at all. Airbnb has suspended thousands of host accounts for policy violations, low ratings, guest complaints, suspected fraudulent activity, or unstated reasons with little appeal recourse. Now, what if instead of risking tens of thousands of dollars to operate in highly competitive markets and trying to various laws and legal frameworks, instead you do digital leasing, operating in low competition markets where you simply set up simple websites and sell leads to local service business owners for $500 to $3,000 per month. With digital leasing, you simply try to rank for keywords that people are actively searching for in low competition markets, such as plumber near me, plumber specific city like plumber Chicago, but obviously that's too competitive. You want to go after cities with smaller populations, typically between 50, maybe 152,000 people. And what you do is you create these simple websites that target these keywords so that when people are searching for those types of keywords, those types of services, your website is ranking on the first page of Google, and the customers can call your website, fill out the form, and then you can partner with a real local service business owner in the area who's not good at marketing and just forward them all those leads. You become their marketing arm. In low competition markets, these websites can cost a few $100s to set up and get ranked on the first page of Google. after which they can require minimum ongoing cost and maintenance. The base cost for these websites is around $20 to $30 per month for a call tracking phone number so that you can receive the phone call leads from the customers calling and forward them directly to your local business partner, and website hosting so that your website can appear on the internet. And once ranked on Google in a low competition markets, what's great about this is that these websites can often remain ranking long term with minimum ongoing cost or maintenance. That means you can go through periods of making passive income online. With that extra time, you can focus on scaling your business, creating more of these websites. Imagine a business with 10, 20, or even 30 websites, each making $500 to $3,000 per month. That's some serious online income potential. And this comes with a lot less headaches than trying to do Airbnb arbitrage, where landlords don't even want to sublet to people. There's a lot of local laws you have to look into. You have to put up substantial capital and actually be present in person to, set up the furniture and make the property look nice. You have to deal with guests constantly, booking. With this, you just, set up a website and then you have one client. With Airbnb, you're going to have multiple guests on a rotation coming in, coming out. You're going to have to do some contact with them. So this model is much simpler and it can be done completely online, which is why I prefer it. If you want to learn more about local SEO lead generation, also called digital leasing, check out the link in the description. If this video is helpful, hit that like button and subscribe for more. Drop a comment with your thoughts. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.